Hello, Libra. Welcome to Higher Source Tarot for your mid-month March tarot and oracle card reading. Oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to start with the spring equinox card, and we're going to start with this one. I love it. I love this card too. Easter egg hunt. What you seek may not be what is seeking you. Perhaps a shift is what is needed. So know that what is meant for you will not miss you. What's yours won't leave you. So there may be something better, okay? If you're really having your all of your attention, all the fullness of your point of attraction fixated on one area and it's not coming, that may be just too much focus, okay? We've got to kind of be easy about things, allow things. It's the art of allowing things to come in. Detailed Celtic cross style reading today. Okay, current situation. The Knight of Wands, the immediate influence, the Four of Swords, the Nine of Swords is in your subconscious. Six of Wands in the distant past, Eight of Wands coming in the more recent past, Two of Pentacles coming towards you. You're represented by the Six of Cups. You're attracting the King of Cups. Five of Pentacles is in your hopes and fears. It doesn't get better than this. You cannot get a better card in the outcome than the World. The World represents every single achievement you came here to receive. This is the pinnacle. It's finding and reaching nirvana. What an excellent reading, because it shows over here. I was like, oh man, that Nine of Swords in the subconscious. I wasn't really in love with that. Now this is interesting because you have both Pisces and Aries here in the Moon and in the Emperor. So there may be actually a timing here as we close out Pisces season and move into Aries that you're going to be moving on. You're going to be free of conflict, free of turmoil. Now, if you haven't heard from someone in a while, you may have somebody who comes back around. But in terms of love, you may have an apology, but I feel like you're moving on to other things. Even if it's a job, if you lost a job and you've had to recover and find a new one, you may say, you know what, I'm not going to chance it on them again. The way they treated me last time, I'm not doing that. I just feel like whatever it is, you won't go back. I feel like you've learned a lesson here. Now know that the Emperor is not only the father of the tarot, but he's the great architect of the universe. So I feel like especially with the Moon energy, you're going to have your eyes wide open about something. There's nothing hidden anymore. And it might be painful. It may have been painful information to receive, but you're better for knowing it rather than staying in a situation that's not really for you or that you cannot trust. The Moon helps you move along on your path to happiness, on that path of your most joy. So you have two major arcana I mentioned. We've got Aries, we've got Leo, we've got Taurus. You've got something great here, though. Now, normally we'd have in between the Moon, the Sun and Judgment would come, but I still like it anyway. I just feel like you're going to be into happier, easier times where people seem to just move and work together better. Like I said, there's something going on behind the scenes. The universe hears conversations you don't hear and makes moves you will not make for yourself because the mind won't allow it. And so I feel like you're being brought into a much more trustworthy place, a much more stable place. It's like, especially if you've been taken for granted, okay? Even if you left a job, but it was because things weren't expanding, I feel like you finally had an opportunity to move on. And if you've had a situation too where there have been maybe short-term openings where they needed a supervisor here or there. Somebody was on vacation and they asked someone else instead of you. I feel like that kind of day-to-day stuff after a while, it's like, look, I can go somewhere that won't do that. So I still feel like they may try to get you back even if it's a job. But with the King of Cups, you have the best boss in the world coming in. Now, I'd also tell you too, I don't want to discount the Six of Swords when it appears with the World, because it can be travel as well. In the little pamphlet that comes with the deck, when that card is explained, it says, aren't you lucky? And I think when we look at it with our 2025 eyes, we go, that's the most boring card here. Or it looks difficult, it looks challenging, but really it's meant to be a card about moving forward without hangups, without hitches and problems. So it is actually a good symbol Now, with this Four of Swords, I feel like you've been something around you. It's like you have been disconnected, and it may be you too if you blocked somebody. But with that Knight of Wands, I still feel like somebody may come dipping back in, and they might be quite a charmer and very charismatic, and they have a way of doing crappy things to people and kind of weaseling their way back into their lives. So you may find that you kind of hesitate on that finally. But with this too, I feel like if you had an ending or something with a job that left you, because you know what we say, the sacredness of pausing, when you've been given that opportunity to have a brief pause in some area that's not working, that can be such a tremendous tipping point. And from there, with the Knight of Wands, that's when you move forward. That's when you take off running. And so with the Knight of Wands, no job is too big or too small. So if it is something in terms of a job, I feel like you have the right attitude if you have a new job. Now, if you have a housing situation too, you might find yourself taking on little projects and finding that you're actually quite good at them. Don't ask me for help. I'm terrible at home improvements. I've had a home for many, many years, and I've learned I need to hire people. It's just not my thing. But I feel like somebody here, you may have an acumen that you did not realize you had. And if that's you, good for you, because that's a great thing to have. Now, the Nine of Swords is in your subconscious. We don't really love this because it's needless worry. So if you've been finding that you've been on an emotional roller coaster where it's like you get worked up about something, and usually you're the voice of reason, but I feel like here, especially because it's coming out of your energy, it's pretty tough to make a case for that. And other people around you have been like, no, don't make it bigger than it is. And they've been trying to talk you down from being so overwhelmed or upset. It's this. And so what is happening, and I'm not trying to tell you shouldn't be or having those feelings, you're attracting situations that are creating it. So we got to be a little careful when this is in the subconscious, because it doesn't mean that you aren't in the right for thinking or feeling that way. But what it is telling us is we're attracting stuff we don't want. Okay, so be aware of that. Now, the Six of Pentacles is in the distant past. You have the scales of Libra here too. So scales of balance. But I feel like if you've had a shift, okay, if you were quite balanced, and like I said, you've had more of an emotional shift where you've had a lot of emotional upheaval lately. Things have been more difficult, more taxing, more frustrating. I even feel like too, if you've had to go out and get new service providers, the thing where you call and you make an appointment or you text or whatever, and they don't get back to you. And you say, I can't keep waiting like this. It's time to move on. And especially if they've increased their prices. I don't know who in their right mind would run a business, increase prices, and then not return customer calls. That's called a way to go out of business. But I feel like somebody here, you've gotten out of sync with some things. Things that used to work are no longer working like they did. And I feel like it's putting you in a position where you have to make difficult decisions or choices you don't really want to have to make, but it's like, I feel like your hand is being forced in some way. And so the thing is with the Eight of Wands, what this will do with you is it brings in momentum and speed. And the other thing that I love about the Eight of Wands is that things move beautifully. It's hard to deny this, especially if things have been kind of resistant and stagnant, because the wands are perfectly aligned. There's no wands intersecting. And so they move forward in perfect synchronicity. So when this happens, know that you're about to have a change. You're hitting that change. Expect the unexpected, but expect it to be positive. This is great communication. It's also the arrows of love. And so, like I said, I feel like you have somebody coming in with a King of Cups energy. That's when we say, ooh la la, you want a King of Cups. Male or female, doesn't matter. Tarot is genderless. But I'll tell you what, talk about a partner for life. The King of Cups is a complete confidant. It's somebody that you'll be completely comfortable with immediately. It's a wonderful energy to have. So especially with this Eight of Wands, if you left a relationship recently because things just weren't going forward, or you felt like you were taken for granted and like you didn't want to do it, but you felt you had to do it, I feel like that's you. You got somebody coming in here and you'll say, well, I'm glad I did, because if I was still in that other thing, I wouldn't even give them a second chance. Like I feel like somebody here would not have left a relationship upon meeting someone new. So this Two of Pentacles energy, you've got that gigantic, oversized infinity symbol. So when you see this, know that you have new opportunities showing up here. It's a wonderful symbol that brings in more. So the choices, the ball is in your court. Even if you feel like your hand has been pushed, I still feel like you're going to make a choice that's for your best interest. The Six of Cups has you returning to love and trust, Pleasantville. It's one of the fairy tale cards of the deck. So I do feel like with this Six of Cups energy, you are going to lean into what feels the best and right for you, regardless of what anyone else thinks or wants you to do. Now, it is a return to love, and it also is a very nostalgic energy. So even if it's a new person, it'll feel like you've known them forever. And I feel like you have a lot of uncanny similarities, things that are unusual to have in common, like your first concert or your first car or something like that that you just couldn't make up. And it feels exciting. It feels exhilarating. Like, oh my gosh, I remember when I was there. And that sort of thing where it's like you're taking a walk down memory lane with somebody you've never met before because it feels easy and it feels right. Now, if it's a job, you're going to have very helpful people. So I feel like those of you that have felt a bit hurt or wounded at work, I feel like you have a new opportunity. If it's a change in your administration or your boss, with this King of Cups, it makes the environment a whole lot better. So if you don't move on, there's something shifting that feels a lot more fair. Because I still get this feeling that you were overlooked for something and it was given to someone else, and it seemed a bit strange. Like, why not me? Why not Libra? See, now I'm defending you for you. I mean, I just can't help myself. But ultimately, when the King of Cups appears, know that it's a very stable energy. It's very understanding in terms of emotions and relating well to other people. But it's also self-improvement. So I do feel like you have a lot of support, love, gratitude. You'll find you get lots of good feedback. People appreciate you. So just get ready to have people saying to you, I appreciate you, and they mean it. So this Five of Pentacles is in your hopes and fears. I feel like somebody here, it's a bittersweet departure. There's something shifting that I feel like you know it needs to change, but there is something a bit difficult about it. There's sort of this, even that sense of connection and nostalgia, like I wish this was different so I didn't feel the need to move on. Like I wish it was what I thought it was going to be, but something has shifted because if you're not living in the world right now, then you've got to change because the world, you don't have complaints here. With the world energy, it's like you want to bottle this moment in time. It is absolute perfection. It's one of those times in your life where you say, how could it get any better than this? And so like I said before with the world, you're going to find that it feels like you're reaching nirvana. It is the absolute pinnacle of all success and achievements, and it's in the outcome. This reading actually does have an outcome, so that's wonderful. You've got a big old capital yes, okay? You create your own reality. You can have, do, or be anything. I love you, Libra, and I'll be back again soon.